Good morning. Today I'm going to do a day in the lifestyle blog or vlog, whatever you call it, just to give you a flavour, I suppose, for the typical day in my life. Now, it is, you'll see the clock there behind. It is, what time is it? Okay, it's 20 to 6. It's 20 to 6. I leave here at home at 10 to 6. I'm in the office at 6 o'clock, and that's how my day starts. First thing though, I have to get my daily fruit and lunch and so on sorted. So you'll see here that I've got my fruit and I've got my sandwich for my lunch, and that sandwich is made from my own sourdough bread, which you can see here. This is my sourdough bread, and I have a sandwich every day at lunchtime. So I have a huge intake of fruit. So this banana is for 10:30. These two satsumas are for 1 o'clock. This banana is for 3:30, and this apple is for 5 o'clock. So coming home at 5 o'clock then in the evening, I have the apple. So that's my daily fruit intake, and that is my lunch. So we're going to pack up and hit the road now. It's 5:45 nearly. The plan is to be in the office at 6 o'clock. So that's what we are going to do now. Just waiting for the car to heat up there, or for the windows to defrost. Typically I'll listen to an audiobook on the way to work, and I rarely listen to the radio now in my car. I always listen to audiobooks. I find them a very useful use of my time and so on. So that's what I'll do. Okay, we're coming into Enfield there now. It's 5:56. Nearly 6 o'clock, but I want you just to see the petrol station here on the right hand side, just up the street rather, from my office. This is where I spent many years. This is the home place. I came back here, can't remember exactly when I came back, bought the place off my parents and redeveloped it, and then spent, I don't know, I suppose maybe 10 years in it, and then sold it and went off building down in Longford, building apartments, and got into development and construction, and that didn't work out well, obviously, with the Celtic Tiger. But here's the petrol station on the right hand side. As you can see there, it's an apple green now, and that's where I spent many years. So my office is just down here on the right hand side, and it's a strange sort of a sensation sometimes. My office is just here. As I say, it's a strange sensation driving or being 100 yards down the street in a completely different scenario, completely different business from what I used to be in. Yeah, completely different business now. and I'm only 100 yards down the street, so you might say I've only travelled 100 yards or so, but I've travelled a long way in terms of career, in terms of business, in terms of professional occupation, in terms of how to make a living, and so on. And it's a strange sensation sometimes, because sometimes I walk up the street there to get a litre of milk for my coffee or whatever, and you might get a flashback actually walking across the forecourt, because you're walking across a tank or tank lid that you would have spent many times actually dipping down on your knees, maybe in January or February, the ground frosted, you're on your knees, the little pebbles, little stones are cutting through your jeans as you're on your knees dipping the bloody tanks. Big difference now. Don't have to dip tanks anymore, and quite frankly making a living as a solicitor is far easier. But you know, I know what it's like to make a living as a retailer, as a small business owner, as a shopkeeper, and it's not easy, and I relate to people in those circumstances. I obviously relate to the employees as well. But so here we are, I'm in the office, or at the office now. As you can see, this is my place here, so we'll pop in there now. Okay, it's just after 6 o'clock now, and this microphone is here because I had a Zoom meeting there yesterday at 4 o'clock, and I had to not quit, but get out as quickly as possible after that, because I had to do something at home. In fact, I had to go home and peel the spuds, so it's not all glamour. It's not all glamour being a solicitor. Zoom meeting yesterday. Anyway, 6 o'clock now, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's Friday, and it is the 4th day of March 2022. So we're going to get stuck into some work now. And my typical day, and I'm very much a creature of habit, but my typical day is as follows. For the first 25 minutes, and I work in 25-minute bursts, because I use the Pomodoro technique. So I work in 25-minute slots. First 25 minutes is social media marketing. So I do certain things in relation to social media. For example, distributing short form video on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, and Twitter. Then the second 25 minutes, after a 5-minute break, I think it is, in the Pomodoro technique, I will write a blog post. Now, the writing that I do could be a full blog post, maybe half a blog post, it may be just an idea, it may be something that I noticed, it may be something I'm thinking about. But I've made a commitment to myself to write a blog post every single day, and I've made that commitment, I think, back in January, and I've done it. And my intention is to write a blog post every single day for 365 days at least. That's what I do. I publish it on terrygorrywrites.com. There's all sorts of stuff there to do with daily life, video marketing, law, small business, all sorts of stuff that I notice, stuff that I'm engaged in, stuff that I'm working on, etc. But what I'm trying to do is develop or maintain the habit of writing every single day. So first 25 minutes social media marketing, second 25 minutes the blog post, and that's the commitment that I make to myself, or have made to myself, and which I intend keeping, to write every day for a year. Then after that I go into emails and begin the normal or regular work. So I respond to emails, and then I look at what needs to be done in terms of raising requisitions on title for property sales or purchases, and so on. So the regular day then will go from the regular day started now at 6 o'clock. I work till 5 o'clock every day. That's it. But if you consider that I start at 6, most people probably start at 9. So, you know, I do 3 extra hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 15. Then I do an extra 5 hours on a Saturday. I probably do 3 hours on a Sunday. So I've estimated that 23 to 25 hours a week I probably work extra over and above most people who will be doing 9 to 5. However, I enjoy my work and I enjoy what I'm doing, so I don't really see it as a huge burden. But to be honest with you, the habit of getting up early and the habit of coming in early and the habit of starting at 6 o'clock probably started up the road there, or even before that in the petrol station, and before that in retailing, when I'd be in retail and working in shops and so on, because you'd be up at 6 o'clock, opening at 7 or whatever. It was a tough game, and that sort of habit has stuck with me down through the years, and I don't really mind it. I went to boarding school then as well, and that had us getting up very, very early to get mass at 7 o'clock or something in the morning before breakfast and so on. So that's what I do. So I'm going to close this down now just for the moment. I'm going to do the work that I have to do, and I'll dip in and out during the day. If you're interested in, or if you find the likes of this vlog type video informative or entertaining, or you want to see more of it, let me know down in the comments below, because this is sort of something that I don't do too often, and obviously there's a limit, I suppose, to the amount of times you can actually do it. But yeah. I'm adding captions there to a video, so I upload the video to Facebook, and Facebook's artificial intelligence is excellent. It extracts my words and gives me captions from the video. I can then download the captions, stick them onto the video itself, bake them in as it were, and then upload it to Instagram and the likes of TikTok and so on. But Facebook's artificial intelligence and Facebook's ability to give me a transcript of my videos is uncanny, absolutely uncanny. The captions are excellent, and that's what I'm doing there now. I've got this software here called Camtasia, and that's what I use for my videos. So this one is about deciding to bring a claim to the WRC, and we'll just have a look. I'm going to import the captions there now, and the captions are after been downloaded from Facebook. So I just uploaded to Facebook, and there you can see the captions there. So as the video goes on, I've got captions baked in, so it's really good. And as I say, that's one of the uses, one of the benefits of Facebook. I know everybody thinks Facebook sucks, etc., etc., but any small business owner that's not using Facebook in their business is crazy. And this, if you're doing video, is a fantastic facility, a fantastic service, because, as I say, the auto caption generation is incredible, you know. Just taking a look at my calendar there today to give you an idea of what my typical day is. Firstly, at 9 o'clock I have a consultation in the office here. At 10 o'clock, that's an employment matter. At 10 o'clock I have a consultation with an existing client. It's a debt collection situation. At 2 o'clock I have a consultation by Zoom with a gentleman in the southwest of the country. That's by Zoom, and it's employment matter. And at 3 o'clock I have a consultation by Zoom with a lady in the United Kingdom, although she worked here in Ireland. I think she's from Europe originally. She worked in Ireland. She's currently working in London, I think, but she has a Zoom consultation to do, I think, with citizenship or some sort of an application of that nature. Then also at 3 o'clock I have a signing for a loan pack for an existing client who's remortgaging. On top of that now, obviously there's going to be the regular mail or post coming in at 9 o'clock or thereabouts that'll have to be dealt with. You're going to have phone calls, obviously, but I don't deal with too many phone calls. I try to encourage people to send emails in, and my staff do as well, the receptionists, etc. Very, very few people, quite frankly, get past reception, because that's not the way I operate. I operate a particular system, and I'm absolutely determined that it's my system or else. So you'll have the usual emails coming in, which you'll have to respond to, and which I do respond to. You'll have phone calls coming in, which will be logged and dealt with, and so on. You'll have the regular post, and then you may have some stuff, the likes of this purchase file here. We have to go through the contracts, the copy title documents furnished, raise pre-contract inquiries, etc. Then we have a client in Australia as well who's selling an apartment locally. We have to organise a courier to take documents out there for signing and so on. And we have whatever else is going to be pop up, and you could have a walk-in as well, but as we don't encourage walk-ins either, quite frankly. My time is very, very structured, very, very managed. I may well have some sort of an OCD situation going on. I was never diagnosed, I don't know, but bottom line is I organise my affairs as tightly and as efficiently as I possibly can. It mightn't be everybody's cup of tea, but it's the way I do it, and it's my way or the highway, quite frankly. And luckily I'm in that position now that I can do things my way. It's just after 8 o'clock there now, 8:05, and as I said earlier on there, I use a technique, time management technique called the Pomodoro technique, and I have a little app on my computer. So if you have a look at the screen here, I'll just show you what I mean. You'll see there I've got 4 Pomodoros done today. Take a long break, so I'm entitled to a long break now. It's 8:05 or 8:10. 4 Pomodoros. The 4 Pomodoros means that I've got 4 Pomodoros, or 4 periods of 25 minutes of work done. So the key thing is, when you're doing the Pomodoro technique, that when you're working and doing the 25 minutes work session, you do it, you focus, and then you take your break, your 5 minutes, and then after 4 of them you get a 15-minute break, I think it is. I find it very useful. Sometimes it's annoying when the app comes up on the bloody screen and you're in the middle of a Zoom consultation, or maybe even a WRC hearing or something, but it's no big deal. And the great thing about it is, if you've a long day stretching ahead of you and you break it up into small chunks, then you are going to get more work done, you're going to be more efficient, and it's not as daunting a prospect. And it's like the old question, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Likewise, with a long working day, which you're hoping will be efficient, how do you be efficient and work efficiently all the time without getting bored and going on to YouTube and Facebook and so on? That's not to say that I don't do that, I do. But one of the most efficient ways, I believe, is this Pomodoro technique, which I've used for a long time. I find it very useful. I have to go and get milk now, so I'll let you see what Enfield is like on a Friday morning. The traffic going by there, heading to Dublin. Serious commuter traffic going through Enfield, and that's from 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. A lot of traffic. There's the coffee shop across the road there where I get the nut jobs. Nomad started in the last 12 months or so. So yeah, I have to go and get milk now down in Tesco. There's some of my books. Employment law in Ireland, 27 Irish law employment cases. I'm buying a house in Ireland, so anyway, I have to go and get some milk now, Tesco. Get the kettles boiling and so on. Which one did you get?
Nomads.
No, winning smile. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, it's lunchtime now, it's 1 o'clock. Just boiling the kettle there. Get a cup of tea and my my sourdough sandwich, which you have here. the lunch there now. We get this thing set up correctly. Okay, so this is the lunch. My sourdough bread, a couple of oranges and a cup of tea. That's my lunch every day. I'm a creature of habit, and I find great power in habit, quite frankly. Developing good habits, getting rid of bad habits. For years I used to be a smoker and had a very unhealthy diet. I have a fairly healthy diet now. I'm careful enough about what I eat, and I gave up smoking there a good few years ago. So delighted that I did. Eat a lot of fruit now and develop good habits. But one of the strengths of a habit is that you always do the same thing. You know, obviously that's one of the weaknesses, I suppose, as well. But it can give you great strength when you're dealing with bad habits like smoking and stuff like that, or eating crap, bad food habits, bad eating habits, and so on. But I try and use good eating habits now as a way to eat healthily, obviously, and look after myself and have a fairly regimented lifestyle, I suppose. You mightn't be into that, and many people may not be, but it suits me grand. My sourdough sandwich then, if you're curious to see what's in it, I think it is turkey and cheese, iceberg lettuce. I'll show you there now. So turkey, cheese, iceberg lettuce, bit of mayonnaise, and that is my own sourdough bread that I baked. It's got walnuts in it, and I think it's got some honey. And then I have 2 oranges, and I have my cup of tea in the company issue mug, which is very, very important. So that is the story. I'm going to have lunch now and get stuck into work then again from 2 o'clock. It's nice at lunchtime though, between 1 and 2, to be able to just lock the door. For years I worked in retailing, and you never actually could switch off because you were always open. You were open from 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, 364 days of the year. Used to close Christmas Day. That's not the case now, and being able to close for lunch and taking weekends off and so on is fantastic if you work in office or in a profession like I am now. I'm very, very lucky in that regard, but I actually recognise the difference between what I used to do and what I do now, and recognise how lucky I am. And maybe if I went straight into the legal profession or into a professional office after college or whatever, I'd never really realise how lucky I am, and I do appreciate it, and I don't take things for granted, but I do work hard. Anyway, I'm going to have my sandwich now, so I'll see you later on.
There was agreement, we understand, at the talks yesterday between Ukraine and Russia for a humanitarian.
I'd be interested to hear in the comments down below whether this type of format is of any interest to you. Obviously, vlogs are popular enough, and people have a natural curiosity to look into other people's lives, which I understand. And from my perspective, there's a particular reason I'm doing a vlog, and I'd be interested to know if you can suspect the reason why I would do a vlog. What's in it for me? In other words, I know what's in it for you, but what's in it for me? And there is a sort of a strategic, rational reason for doing a vlog, any sort of a vlog. But I'd be interested to see in the comments below if this is something that you find interesting. Obviously there's probably a limited number I can do, because clearly one of my days is pretty much like the other day. That's in the normal course of events. But having said that, I suppose it's arguable that things do occur, stories do happen, and obviously stories can be told. What I'm telling you, my story today, is basically my usual day in work and the standard typical day that I have, what time I go to work at, what sort of work I do, and so on and so forth. But I'm just wondering, is that of any interest on a regular basis? Probably not. Probably once or twice a year might be sufficient, but probably there is other occasions when a vlog might be appropriate. For example, when I have some story to tell, and even if the story is something like cutting the grass at home or a particular type of work that I might be doing here. But the difficulty with doing anything to do with what goes on in the office here is the question of revealing the identity of clients and so on. That's clearly a non-runner, ain't going to happen. So there's a limit, I suppose, to what I can do in the office, but there's no limit, I suppose, to doing a daily vlog and letting you see my normal regular day, see what goes on and so on. But as I say, there's a limit to what I can do, what I can disclose, because clearly clients are entitled to and will be getting professional confidentiality and secrecy and so on and so forth. Anyway, there's Enfield on lunchtime. As you can see there yourself, there's Nomad across the street there, the coffee shop, and traffic's still going by. So that's Enfield at lunchtime on the 3rd or 4th of March, whatever day I said it was at the beginning of this. Back home again now. It's around 10 past 5 or thereabouts. Beautiful evening, real touch of spring, great to see it now. And tomorrow I'm going to have to sort out feeding the birds, because the birds, as you can see, are getting stuck in. I mentioned this morning there that I listen to audiobooks. The one I'm listening to at the moment is the talented Mr. Ripley. And I must say now, I thought it would be very good, but I'm a bit disappointed so far. A bit disappointed. My day, every day ends with a run. I run for about half an hour out the road there to the bus stop at Ballinadrina and back. And that's how I end every day, and it doesn't make absolutely any difference whether the weather is good, bad, indifferent, wet, windy, snowy, frosty. I am a person of habit and I run every day, and so every evening between 5 and 6 I go off my own. That kind of finishes the day for me. So that's a day in my life, my typical day. For me, it's a Friday evening. I'm going to go off my run now. Might have a beer later on, watch TV, have the dinner with herself and whoever is here. That's really it. Hope you find this vlog entertaining or informative or whatever, interesting I suppose. Let me know down in the comments maybe below if you do, and if you want to see more of them. Not promising anything, I can't guarantee anything, but I might do a few more of them from time to time. Anyway, it's a great evening. I'm going to go for my run now. Birds are singing, and it's a real bit of spring about, a real sense of spring. Beautiful crisp air, it's cool, but looking forward to my run now, and I'm going to listen to my audiobook, the fabulous Mr. Ripley or whatever you call it.